Hi there and welcome to Project Blank. In today's video we're going to be designing and building a workbench. So in this video we're going to be ripping out an old workbench, coming up with a design for a new one and then installing it. So we'll kick off, we'll show you a quick clip of us dismantling it and then we'll get to designing and building a new one. Okay, this is the workbench area that we're going to tackle first. As you can see, it's all rotten and done in. So my plan, let's just take the camera and show you over here. I've got two of these big locker units. So my plan is to put both of those in place of this bench and then build a new bench around it. But as you can see, first things first, I need to clear all this mess up. So I've put the two cabinets in place with a compressor in the middle, and as you can see that because they've got no legs to adjust, they're just flat bottomed and the garage isn't flat, they're not sitting level. So just to make sure it doesn't catch me out with the height of the workbench, this one here is the sort of highest point of all of that. So I'm just going to come across, it's actually in line with the top of this, or the bottom of this brick course here. So we've got that marked. We'll get the benches out, the cabinets out of the way, spirit level line across, and then we can look at making legs then to meet that height, because they're all going to be slightly different just because of the garage flooring. terms of level side to side, it's great, but this floor is just, you can see that. It won't even stand up straight on its own, so we're not going to be able to deal with that until we've got the front side built. It's really close to being level. I just need to brace that back corner, and it lifts the back leg up a little bit, and I think it'll be fine then. But yeah, considering how bad the floor is, I'm impressed I got it this close. So we've got the main part of the frame built now. You have to excuse the noise. Test fitted this one in place, which fits a lot better than I thought it would. The ground's so uneven it made it difficult to make everything level, but it's pretty much there, so it's pretty good. I'm surprised how close it was. So now what I'm going to do is take this away for now, take the locker back out, secure. I'll probably have to split this here. Secure the back parts to the wall, put the lockers in place, attach the front parts to it, and then I'm going to look at getting brackets for putting these ones down to the floor. Probably put the back ones on the floor as well, actually. Just a sort of an anchor bolt or whatever down to the thing with an L bracket on it, and then we can look at putting the top on. I had a quick measure. I haven't actually tried the compressor, but I've had a quick measure of that gap, and it's just it's about 30 centimeters, which I think it will fit. If it doesn't, there's nothing I can do about it. This is the size it is. I've had to sacrifice some of the strength of the bench to make it fit. So this is as far up this way as it can go, and this side there actually isn't going to be a piece in there. I'll be honest, not too sure how I'm going to finish that off because the workbench is right up against the wall. So that's still to be determined. I may just have to bring the workbench this way a little bit and put a couple of L brackets there for the worktop to screw up into the worktop. I don't know yet. That's where we're at. The noise is the Highland Games is on. We're right across from the park, so I don't know if you can hear it. It's picking it up, but it's about 1,000 bagpipes. Or it sounds like 1,000 bagpipes anyway. There we are. Okay, so we'll leave it there. We'll take the lockers away and we'll see if we can find some brackets. If not, we're going to have to go and get some and get it attached to the wall. So I found some brackets. I've got 8 of these sort of nice big chunky galvanised right angle brackets. So they're going to be used for the base. So the front ones will be visible like that, and the rear ones will obviously go inside and nicely hidden. I don't have any anchor bolts on me. I've got one, and it's too small anyway. So I need to go and get some anchor bolts to secure it to the floor, to make sure you got a drill bit as well that'll do that. And I think I need a few more washers. I've got a handful of washers because obviously the hole in these is quite big where the screw's going to go through, so I'm going to need to make a run anyway to the shops to pick up a couple of things. I'm tempted not to secure this to the wall, only to the floor. I'm hoping that with the base in place it'll hold it square and still, and then just the strength of the worktop itself will stop the top from moving around. I'm not too sure of the strength of the wall in this garage. Like I said, well, I may have said previously, it is going to be getting taken down and replaced in the next few years, don't know when. So I don't want to be working on the bench and thinking it's okay, it's attached to the wall, and the wall isn't as solid, because it doesn't look that solid, to be honest. It's not going to fall down, but I don't think there's any point in putting this to it. I think it'll be fine without it. A little bit of movement's not going to do any harm. But those anchor bolts will stop it from moving around the floor. And I think that's what we'll do. And then once I've got this, I need to get this all done before I look at putting a top on, because I effectively need to assemble all this around the lockers. There's no real way of getting them in afterwards. The way it's been designed, it won't really work. Well, not the way it's been designed. The design's sort of gone right out the window. The way it's been built doesn't allow that, because for me to have done that, the entire structure would have to have been taller, wider and deeper or longer than the bench, and it would have just been massive. It was just the space wasn't there for it, especially height wise. I mean, I'm tall and I like a nice high workbench, but once the worktop's on this, it's going to be pushing it. It's going to be as high as you'd like it. I mean, this is nice for me, but you start going any higher, if you're drilling down something, or you want to put pressure on something, you're going to struggle to get over it. You want to get your weight over it. So need to secure it to the floor, and then we can move forward and look at the worktop. Okay. So I've bought the anchor bolts and the washers that I needed to be able to secure it to the floor. So just starting with the rear frame, drilling the holes out with a masonry bit, and then putting the anchor bolt through the bracket and just tighten it up in place. And then once that was in, just put in a screw through a washer, and then between the bracket and the upright. For this one I needed to take the cabinet out, so I just split the frame and used the cabinet to hold the frame in place, and then repeated the process on the other one, and then repeated it again on the front legs for the right hand side. So with the left cabinet in place, I just thought I'd grind some of the sort of screws that were protruding out the end of the bits of wood just while I had access. So with those off, put the other cabinet in place, and then secured the front posts. In order to make it easy to attach the top of the worktop itself, I decided to just put 4 cross pieces in, one at each end and two in the middle. It did add a bit of height to the workbench, but
it gave me a nice solid foundation to screw the final top piece onto. If I wasn't building this around cabinets, I would have obviously built cross pieces into the frame at the same height as the rest of it. But due to the lack of space, because of the cabinets, it was easier just to add some of these. So then I could offer up the lengths now for the final worktop. So they're made up of 5 individual pieces. For some reason I decided to put the first one on against the wall, then put the outer 2 on, and then fill in the gap. I can't remember why I did this, but I did. Luckily there was enough room to do it, but not really sure what reason I had for doing it.
So that's the top all finished now, all screwed in. It's really solid, quite high. For me that's no problem, but for other people who came with maybe it's a bit high for them. That's driven by the height of the cabinet, as you can sort of tell, and that's just the way it is. That's what I wanted. I wanted it built around these. I've had a workbench built around these before and I was happy with it. So that's it finished now. Compressor fits in the middle nicely. I'll look at wiring that up and plumbing it in another video. But in terms of getting the workbench done, that's it. All I need to do now is just get some bolts and attach the vise, but that's where it's going to go there, just on the left hand side. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Please keep checking the channel, subscribe and click on the little bell to get notifications, because we will be doing one where we plumb the compressor, and I want to build something up here to house all the inline oilers and filters and various connections for that. And also check out the other playlists. We've got work going on in the house at the moment which we're renovating, so check that out as well, and like, comment and subscribe away. Cheers.